All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a question that's, well, about as personal as it gets, inspired by Bill Bryson's awesome book, The Body, A Guide for Occupants. So forget your bank account, forget your net worth for a sec. We're going to figure out what it would cost to literally build you from scratch.
Yeah, you heard me right. Not how much you have, but how much you are. What's the raw physical cash value of all the stuff that makes you, well, you? What is your actual literal price tag?
You know, there's this old idea, I think it came from a biology class back in the 60s, that you could buy all the chemicals that make up a human body at a hardware store for like $5. It's a pretty humbling thought, right? That you, with all your hopes, dreams, and complexities, could be put together for less than the price of a movie ticket. But is that even close to being true? Okay, so let's dig into this $5 human idea. To figure out your price, first we've got to have a shopping list. What are the actual ingredients we need to make a person?
So get this, it's gonna sound kind of weird, but you are mostly an odorless gas. A whopping 61% of you is oxygen. Now, the reason you don't just float away is that most of that oxygen is bonded with hydrogen, which is another 10% of you. And together, they make water. And as we all know, water is surprisingly heavy.
And what's really wild is that it takes a total of 59 different elements to build a person. I mean, sure, the top 6 do like 99% of the heavy lifting, but you'd fall apart without these tiny, tiny traces of other stuff, things like molybdenum, tin, even vanadium. We might only need a few atoms of some of these, but they are absolutely 100% essential.
Okay, so we have our shopping list. Now let's talk price. And for this, we're going to lean on this fantastic case study from Britain's Royal Society of Chemistry. For a science festival, they actually calculated the cost to build a human, and they used the actor Benedict Cumberbatch as their model. Why not, right?
Okay, so let's start with the big one, your single biggest ingredient, oxygen. Remember that 61% of you? All of that would only set you back about $14. Yeah, $14. Pretty cheap so far, right?
Next up, your hydrogen. That's a little pricier, but it's still a total bargain at just $26. So at this point, the vast majority of your body costs less than taking someone out for a nice dinner. But things are about to get a lot more expensive.
And here it is, the big one, carbon. You need about 30 pounds of it to make a person, and because the Royal Society of Chemistry insisted on using only the most purified forms of these elements, that carbon alone costs, wait for it, nearly $70,000. Whoa! Suddenly you're not so cheap anymore, are you?
So when you start adding in all the other elements, the pricey phosphorus and potassium and everything else, the grand total to assemble one Benedict Cumberbatch from scratch comes out to a very, very precise $151,578.46. So yeah, so much for that $5 human.
But, and this is what makes this so fascinating, this whole question is trickier than you'd think. The Royal Society came up with over 150 grand, but the PBS show Nova, they did a similar analysis and valued a human body at just $168. It just goes to show you that even for something as basic as this, the answer really depends on who you ask and how they're measuring.
But honestly, whether you're worth $168 or $150,000, that price tag, it completely misses the most important, the most mind-blowing part of this whole thing.
Here's the real kicker. It doesn't matter what you pay. You could have every single one of those elements piled up. You could have all the money in the world, the combined knowledge of all humanity, and you still could not create a single living cell. Not one, let alone a whole person. And this quote really nails it. You're made of the same inert stuff you'd find in a shovel full of dirt. There's nothing special about those elements themselves. The miracle is that they come together to create a thinking, feeling, breathing you. That right there, that is the miracle of life.
So you know what? Let's just forget the price tag for a minute. Let's talk about the sheer scale, the unbelievable sophistication of what all those boring, inert components are actually doing inside you, like right now.
Just look at that number on the screen. That's 7 octillion. That's the estimated number of atoms that, for some reason we'll probably never understand, have this urgent collective desire to be you. They're just mindless particles, right? But somehow they all work together in perfect harmony to create this amazing thing we call being alive. And the things those atoms build? It's just staggering. If you smoothed out your lungs, they'd cover a whole tennis court. The blood vessels in your body could wrap around the entire Earth 2.5 times. And the DNA inside you, if you could stretch it all out into one long strand, would reach past Pluto. I mean, think about that. You are, in the most literal sense you can imagine, cosmic.
And your body just does all this stuff on its own. You probably just blinked, right? You do that about 14,000 times a day without giving it a single thought. Your body handles a quadrillion, that's a 1 with 15 zeros, a quadrillion little tasks like that every single day, from making 1 million new red blood cells every second to just digesting your lunch.
Now, it's really easy to think of the body as this perfectly designed machine, but that's not quite the full picture. It's actually more like this incredible story of resilience, and it's full of these fascinating inherited flaws.
So what's this number, 1 to 5? Well, that's the estimated number of your own cells that turn cancerous every single day. And every single day, without you even knowing it, your immune system finds them, hunts them down, and quietly kills them. It's saving your life over and over and over again, and you're not even aware of it.
But for all that life-saving genius, your body is also full of these weird, almost comical quirks. Our jaws are too small for our teeth. That's why we have to get our wisdom teeth pulled. The way we're built to swallow and breathe through the same tube gives us a ridiculously high risk of choking. And our backs and our knees, they are just terribly designed for walking upright. These are just evolutionary hand-me-downs from ancestors who weren't even human.
And that's the whole point, right? You aren't some machine that was perfectly designed from a blueprint. You are the product of an unbroken 3 billion-year chain of success. Every single one of your ancestors, all the way back to the very first little unicellular blobs, managed to survive long enough to pass on its genes. You are a long, interesting, and totally glorious accident.
So, at the end of the day, what are you really worth? It's not a number. It's not a price tag. The real value is in the profound, absolute awe you should feel for yourself. You are a universe of 37.2 trillion cells, all working in near-perfect harmony. You're a resilient, imperfect, and utterly miraculous biological event. So the only real question left is the one on your screen. With all that incredible power inside you, what are you going to do with the wonder that is you?